Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So I'm having a walk through the woods again, and can anyone spot the mushroom? It's late October, and if you look amongst this leaf litter, you have to have a good eye. But there's some mushrooms here, pretty well camouflaged. But there they are, right there. There's another one. And there's a really big one, but looks like it's been eaten quite bad. Now, let me just show you what these look like. So I'm going to pick this one that's quite old and raggedy. But there is the mushroom's gills. Now these are wood blewits. Quite a fleshy mushroom. Really velvety to the touch, nice and smooth. And there's a wood blewit. Now these are a nice, tasty, edible mushroom. So you look at the gills, they come to the stem and then they stop. It smells, there's no real distinct smell. There were quite a few wood blewits just here, and I'm just having a look around, see if I can see any more. There's another wood blewit there, the purple one. And then there's this fairy ring here. A nice fairy ring that goes round there, all the way around, and underneath this little beech tree. And there's loads of them over there. See, the ring is quite big. But they carry on all the way around here. There's another, the ring carries on around here. It's there. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they're another blewit, but I can't quite identify them. And they're a white-gilled mushroom. And as I'm a beginner at this, white-gilled are generally warning signs. But depends on the kind of mushroom it is. I don't know what this is. I'm going to have to check my field guide. I'm tempted to take one back with me, just have a look at it and investigate it a bit further. Maybe do a spore print. So yeah, anyway, I've got my blewits. I'm not going to look any further. I'm just going to make my way home. So it's breakfast time. And I've got the mushrooms that I found the other day in the woods washed up, and they're ready. So these are looking beautiful. They had a lot of leaf litter stuck to them, so I had to give them a good soaking and a good wash. I hope that doesn't destroy the flavour. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cook these up. See, they do look absolutely gorgeous. The size of this one is huge, humongous. So these are called wood blewits. They're a little bit past the best because they've started to change from a lilac colour to a brownish colour, and they've been nibbled on a bit. So I'm going to cut these nibbledy bits out, and I'll start frying these up. Let's cut them in half first of all. And the stalk's a little bit stiffer than the rest of the mushroom. So it's these nibbledy bits that I'm going to get rid of. Because as much as I like sharing, I don't like the idea of sharing with creatures that I don't know. So I'm just going to cut them. The reason I'm cutting them like this is because I want to try and catch any dirt that's stuck in the gills. So there's some dirt, so you can see some dirt that's coming off onto my fingers there. I'm just trying to get those little bits as well. Let's get this big one cut. Let's have a look at what's inside this. Oof, that looks nice. See, the stems on these bigger ones, they are a bit more fibrous, so with these I'm just going to take them off. See, in these cracks and crevices where a lot you can get some dirt collection as well. So that's the other reason that I'm removing them. I know that a little dirt's not going to hurt me. That reminds me of my friend Ryan over in Canada. A little dirt never hurt. So what I've got here is a red onion that I've peeled, and I'm going to use this finely chopped, and loads of homegrown garlic. If you haven't seen my garlic harvesting video, go and check that out. I'll put a link up right now. But I'm going to use loads and loads of garlic and a nice knob of butter. So I've chopped up a red onion finely, and I'm going to add a dash of olive oil to the frying pan, and I'm going to cook this onion down with the mushrooms. So I've got some nice garlic cloves here, and I'm going to crush these and chop them finely. So you can use a garlic press for this, or you can use a mortar and pestle. It's up to you, whatever works. But just running your knife along like this will make sure that it's small enough anyway. Just a couple of times. That smells lovely. So I've got my gas on the frying pan, and I'm going to drop a dash of olive oil in. So what I'm going to add now is a nice knob of butter into the olive oil. And the reason that I added the olive oil and then the butter is because butter has a low heat temperature, cooking temperature, it tends to burn quite quickly. So what I'm doing here is diluting that butter with the oil, and that'll raise the temperature that it burns at. So now what I'm going to do, as that's bubbling away, I'm going to chuck a little bit of garlic in here, not too much. I'm not going to put all the garlic in here. I've used about half, and I'm going to start browning that, and that's going to really bring out the garlicky flavour to begin with. And then as that starts browning, then I'll add the onions, and then I'll add the mushrooms and the rest of the garlic. Oh, I can smell that garlicky smell already. Yeah, so I'll let that cook for a few minutes, and I'll get that really pungent garlicky taste. And once I've got that, then I'll add the onions and I'll add my mushrooms. Now that you can see the garlic starting to brown, now's the time to add my onions. See that toasting of the garlic initially, and that'll bring out all the flavour for the garlic and give it a really strong initial flavour. Give that a stir with the onion. Turn the heat down a bit. Let these onions cook through a tiny bit. So while that's cooking, I'm going to add a quarter of a tablespoon or quarter of a teaspoon of salt, a quarter of a teaspoon of paprika, and about a quarter of a teaspoon of cumin. Again, whenever you add these spices, always add them towards the start and let that cook through, because you want those spices to cook before you start adding the rest of the ingredients. So leave that on a low heat and let it cook down for about 5 minutes. While those onions are cooking away, the other thing that I'm going to add are some peppers. Unfortunately, these aren't homegrown peppers. They're bought from the market. But yeah, my peppers, I didn't grow these kind of peppers this year. But let's get these in, and it'll add a nice bit of colour and a nice bit of taste to the dish. So now that my onions are cooking down, it's time to add the mushrooms. So let's get these mushrooms in. We add those mushrooms, and at the same time I'm going to add my peppers, and I'm going to add the rest of the garlic as well. Give that a good stir. And I'm just gonna let that cook down. I'm gonna leave it on this heat for about 15 minutes, just letting it cook down, and then I'll come back to it. So I've turned the heat down. I'm gonna just leave it on a low heat for about 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and see what this tastes like. So let's check up on it. It's looking like it's almost done. And the way I'm going to serve it up is I'm going to just take a couple of slices of toast. Now this isn't fancy bread. Get the butter on it. Lots nice helping of butter. So a nice bit of toast. Get this a bit closer and let's start serving it up. And what I've got here is some grated parmesan. So I'll get some parmesan on it. Yep. With a nice dollop of grated cheddar. Yes. Now that's a nice sandwich for breakfast. Yes. So this is the first time that I've cooked these wood blewits. So I'll give them a taste and I'll see how they are. Let me just have a spoonful. Now, the texture compared to the normal shop bought mushrooms is a little bit more slimy. I think that's one way of describing it. But they do taste kind of meaty compared to the normal shop bought mushrooms. They do have a distinctive taste compared to that. So I'm gonna tuck into my sandwich. I should have tested it out on the wife before I tried it myself. I'm gonna leave it there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.